There we go. Okay. All right. So we got a ruler here. And I think we can all agree that the first number should be a 1, correct? All right.
Oh, I found.
So we should have a 1. Now, one thing I want you to think of with this is I want you to think, what is the distance between the lines? What is that distance? Chat with your neighbor and say, is that 1? Is it 0.1? Is it 0.01? What is that distance? Is that distance 1? No, because this distance here from 2 to 3, that distance is 1. That's not our smallest little line, though. Our smallest little line, where did it go? Our smallest little line isn't 1, it isn't 0.01, it is 0.1. Because if I were to number this, this would be 2.1, this would be 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, this would be 2.5, right? So each of those little lines is 0.1. Whenever you know what each little line is worth, you need to go one more position than that. You okay? Yeah. Okay. So instead of going to just 0.1, we're going to go to the 0.01 position, to the hundredths position. So that's one way to think about it. So that means that I should have 2 numbers after my decimal. Okay? The other way to look at it is to say, am I unsure about that 1? Am I guessing? Could that number have been a 2? Could this possibly be 2 centimeters long? So are we estimating that 1, or is that a for sure digit? That's for sure. We are sure about the 1. Could this measurement be 1.1? No. Could it be 0.9? No. So we're not unsure about this 1.0 either. We're sure that's a 1.0. It's not a 1.1. It's not a 0.9. It's definitely a 1.0. Now, because this is a picture and it's blown up great big, you could probably be fairly safe saying that the next digit could be a 0. Okay? Because you have to guess at that, because we're sure about the 0.1 position, and that means our estimated digit is that last one there. Okay? What else would I need in order to make this a proper measurement? I need a unit, so this would have to have centimeters. So this would have 1.00 centimeters. Okay? Now, if you're into things like sig figs and you're wanting to know how many digits this has 1, 2, 3 sig figs. And what is sig figs short for? Sig figs is short for significant figures, yes. And usually it's really easy because you just count up how many numbers there are in your number, right? How many digits are in your number? You go 1, 2, 3.
When is it not?
When is it not? Okay. So this is when it gets tricky. It gets tricky when you have zeros. If you are not interested in this at all, you can take a little nap for a moment. Just make sure you're quiet. But this is the enriched stuff. Okay, and if you need some extra paper on which to write this, there is extra paper at the back of the room just beside Aria in that little box with some blue there. So if you want to take a moment and grab a piece of paper, you can do that. Non-zero digits are always significant. It gets complicated. So if you had a number like 432.5, how many sig figs would you have in that number? You would have 4 sig figs. So it's really easy as long as those zeros are not, digits are non-zero. When it gets tricky is if you have zeros.
Oh, at the oh, before like the dot.
So we've got zeros at the beginning. No, not significant. Basically, they're just telling you your number hasn't started yet. I don't have anything in the ones position. I don't have anything in the 0.1 position. I don't have anything in the hundredths position. If you have zeros in the middle, in between non-zero digits, yes,
We're about to get.
we'll get there. Okay? And then these are the really tricky ones. So no is pretty easy, yes is pretty easy. And our last category are zeros at the end. And those ones are maybe. And that right there is a decimal. Okay? So if it's a maybe, you say to yourself, is there a decimal in the number? If the answer is yes, then yes, they are significant. So yes, yes. If the answer is no, there's no decimal, then they're not significant. That's a lot of rules. Like I said, if you're not interested in learning these rules, it doesn't matter. This is grade 11 stuff. It's like a little bonus if you're interested, right? So in this particular number here, we say no, no, no. So I start counting at the 3. Okay, so I go 1, and then the ones in the middle are yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, because always my non-zero digits are significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I say maybe, and I look and I say, oh, there is a decimal in the number. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as there's a decimal. Those on the right are significant. So you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sig figs in that number. And if anyone is interested in having like the handout that has that stuff on it, let me know. I've got 10 copies today. I can make more if you need it. Is there anyone who wants that today? Okay, let me grab those for those of you who want it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, I'm going to shut the door to people who are like coming in the hallway. It makes these seats a little hard to hear. if you would like the enriched stuff for this unit, I have 10 copies right now. So what I'll do is I'll give them to you, and then when I run out, I will get more copies for tomorrow. Okay. So again, it comes with a worksheet and an answer. So we got one here. Here. Oh my gosh, I got so many. Oh no, I'm gonna run out right away. Okay. Oh wait, I'm coming out. I'm coming out. Oh. So you're right. You're okay. All right. Answer please. Answer me. I'm just trying to get an answer. And now I have run out, so this half of the room, I'm sorry, if you want one, I'm gonna have to get it for you for tomorrow. Is that okay? I already got one. You already got one? Yeah. Okay. I'm still. How many people would still like one? 1, 2, 3. Anyone else? 4, 5, 6. I'll make 10 just in case. Okay, so I'll have those available for tomorrow. Sorry about that. I did not realize they would be such a hot commodity. All right. So in that enriched book, you'll find some stuff about significant figures. You'll also find some stuff about scientific notation and exponents, which is also another section that if you want to learn it on your own, you can. Again, it is optional, okay? All right, let's go back here. And let's just make sure for number 5, let's make sure we have everything we need. So we're looking here, and you'll notice it's really hard to read this, so I've blown it up so it looks big. Again, we're on page 29. Okay, and we're somewhere in between 30 and 40. Okay? And this piece of equipment, just in case you're wondering what it looks like, is a graduated cylinder. Okay? Big one, small one. You'll put water in it. Bloop, 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 bloop. Okay? And then that's it. Okay, so that is our graduated cylinder. And again, knowing that name is an enriched thing. Okay? Here, what is our smallest line worth? Is that smallest line worth 10? Is it worth 1? Is it worth 0.1? What's it worth? Tell your partner. And then I'll call you.
Yeah, because that's like a yeah. Dog.
Okay, Abby, what do you think? 2? Okay, let's count them. So we got 30 here. 40 is here.
Oh.
You want to change it? 1. Yeah? So you're going to, and then you're going to count and you're going to say that would be 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So each of these is worth 1. That means, what position should I be reading to? What should my digit, what digit should I end on? Yes?
We should end at the 10th.
End at the 10th place, which is the 0.1 position. Okay, so we have here, this would be somewhere in between 36 and 37. So we would have 36.5? What if you wrote 36.6? Would that be okay?
Well, 36.7.
How about 36.7? Any problem with any of those? Nope, they're all good. Okay, that's because that last digit we're estimating. Your estimate might be different than mine. It might be different than your neighbor's. Okay, so those are all good answers, but they are missing something. They're missing the unit, absolutely. And so we go over here and we say, what are we measuring in? We're measuring in milliliters. And take note, milliliters, it's a capital L per liter, okay? So if you have ml, no, you want it to be milliliters, okay? How many sig figs in that number? 3, yeah. 3, okay. So we've got our graduated cylinder. We have, here's another graduated cylinder. I'm not going to do that one. Oh, actually, maybe I will. There we go. Here's our 70. Here's our 80. And I think when people make mistakes on this, often it's because they just look at it and they don't think, what's the smallest line worth? And actually go and count it. What's the smallest line worth? What's this here? Is it 1? Is it 0.1? Is it 0.01? It is indeed 1. Okay, because we'd have to go 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Okay, and then that would put this one at 76. Now, I'm so sad that I wrote this for you, because one of the things you're going to have to do is write what you are measuring. And you would say volume. What would you write here? Let's assume that is a rock, and that is water. What would you actually write at the front? Marion?
Volume of rock and water.
Volume of rock and water. Now we agreed that this number here, our water went up to 76. Oh, have we talked about what the scoop is called? You know how water makes a scoop? Whenever water is in a glass container, it's a little bit sticky in terms of sticking to the walls of the container. So it will actually climb up the walls a little bit, and it forms this like little scoop shape. That scoop shape is called a meniscus. Sometimes people learned this in grade 8. Sometimes they've learned it in home ec. I know the first time I learned it was in home ec when we were measuring things in measuring cups. Because you always measure at the bottom of the meniscus. So what that means is that I'm going to measure here at the red line. I'm not going to measure here at the green line. So this is a no. This is a yes. At the bottom of the scoop. So what would that volume of water be? We were at 76, so I guess I can write down 76. Each little line was worth 1. Anyone want to tell me what I should measure to? Is 76 good enough? No? What do I need in addition to the 76? Matthew? I need another 0 because that's my ones position. I need to go, because each line is a 1, I need to go 1 more than that. I need to go to the 0.1. So that's our estimated digit, and that is milliliters. So a full answer for full credit would be that, and that would be worth 4 marks. You would get one mark for saying volume of rock and water. You would get a half if you just said volume. You get 1 mark for getting 76 because you got the number right. Sometimes people get the number wrong. They'll write 70.6 or something like that. Okay? Nope. Okay? And you get 1 mark for having the 0.0 there, and you get 1 mark for having milliliters. Okay, so lots of marks for just one little thing. So far, so good? Excellent. Okay. Now, would we like a little break from measuring? We'll come back to it later and we'll do something else in the meantime. Okay. So what we are going to do right now is we are going to go to, let me get my book and see which one it is. Okay. We are going to go to 1.3F. 1.3F, which is on page 60. Six zero. So what you're going to do is, first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a look at this picture here, and you're going to write a detailed account or story of what happened in the cartoon. Once you're done that, we're going to complete the rest of the worksheet. But I've discovered from past years that having people read the definition of observation and inference usually isn't enough. It's enough for about half the class, and then the other half of the class doesn't get it. So before we start, we're going to define the words observation, and we're going to define the word inference. How many people have heard those words before? Maybe in grade 8 science? Yeah. But it could have been a while. It could have been like last September when you heard them. So, and maybe you've never heard them. So an observation, when you observe something, what do? I'm going to observe this pen. What am I doing with it? I am looking at it. I can touch it. Okay, if it was a nasty chemical, I would not do the touching part. Okay, this is my personal pen. In theory, I could lick my personal pen, but I still think that's gross, even though it's mine, so I'm not going to. Okay, never lick any chemicals. Okay, even just like, don't lick anything that's been in a science lab because it's probably gross, right? And especially in a school like this, who knows whose germs are on this table and whose germs are on this pen and that. Okay, so don't ever lick anything. But what else could I do with it? I could smell it. Doesn't smell like anything. It's not a fancy pen. I could listen to it. In addition to doing all of those things where I've got my touch and all my senses, my hearing, my taste, not taste, touch, smell, hearing, sight, whatever, I could also do something else. What else could I do? Yes? I could measure it. Yeah? I could be like, oh, that's another way of observing things, is to do some measurements. So I could measure the length of this pen. What else could I measure about this pen? Yes?
Weight.
I could measure the weight of this pen. I would put it on a scale. Okay? What if I popped it in here? I could measure volume, not just by putting it in here, but are you guys familiar? Like if you put water in here and then you drop the pen in and then the water level goes up, you can actually find the volume of the pen. Okay, so you could measure its volume. So anything you can observe with your senses is an observation. Anything you can measure. Okay, so observations are things you can see, hear, feel, smell, taste. I mean, heck, there could be like if you were making an observation about the sugar in your kitchen, you could taste that sugar. Yes? So sometimes it's okay to taste, but not in the science lab. Or measure. So those are observations. Can I see it, feel it, touch it, taste it? Now, an inference. An inference is based on your observations. It is a logical guess based on your observations. Logan, leave it. So, I'm looking at this pen. Could anyone make an inference about this pen? I also have this pen. Yes. Yeah, well, I could say the pen itself is blue, but you could infer that the color of the ink is blue. You could infer that the color of the ink is blue. Yes. You could infer that the ink is dry, or you could infer that the ink is wet. Like you could be like, I don't know, probably ink is a wet thing. Maybe the ink is wet. Yes?
You could see it has ink and then think, oh, you could probably write with it.
You could think, oh, I could probably write with this. But until you've actually put pen to paper, you don't know that you could actually write with it. Yes?
You could like infer that and push down go on that.
I could infer, oh, I got this little knob on the top. I might infer that if I push it, it's going to go in and out. Now, in order to test that, I could make further observations. Oh. So sometimes that, it would be logical. Most pens do that, right? You push on the top and it goes up and down. This one does not. Yeah, it's this one. Okay? So, but I would have to actually try that to make sure it happened. I actually have some pencils, mechanical pencils, where you twist it. So you'd have to, make some observations to that. I could infer that if this little knob on the top, it feels almost like an eraser. So I've observed that it feels like an eraser. And it's in the same location as a pencil eraser. So I might infer that this pen is erasable. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Probably not. I'm going to do it in the darker blue one. Can you guys see that? Yeah? Okay. Ooh. Okay, so it is indeed erasable. You wouldn't necessarily make that inference. I happen to know that it's erasable, but okay, so that's the difference between an observation and an inference. So once you have finished writing your story, you can be creative. You can tell me any story you want about this. All right. Once you are finished with that, you are going to reread the account that you wrote, and you can use different colored highlighters, or you can use different colored pencil crayons. There they are. Or you can use different colored pencil crayons, highlighters like that. These are at the front, and you're going to decide in your account what things are observations and what things are inferences. Or if you would prefer, you can trade your story with your friend and, find the observations and inferences in theirs. Does that sound like something you guys could do? Can you write a story? Doesn't have to be, super exciting. If you want it to be exciting, you can, or you can just be boring. Either way is good. All right, so I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. And then once you've got it written, you can use either pencils or highlighters to check out your observations and your inferences. Okay, and that's it.
Well, it could be based on, for instance, He's on the ground. An observation is his. Yeah, okay. My inference for that is that I think that's an inference. Yeah. You're not 100% sure that's there.
So folks, if you finish the story, you're going to highlight or underline your observations in one color, your inferences in another color. If you've done that on page 62, you're going to label each of those things in number 5 as either O for observation or I for inference. And then the last two, you're going to write your own observation that's different about that picture and your own inference. If you want to work ahead, you can do page 62. Okay? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Okay, that's totally fine. That works. Yeah, that works. Okay. And. Okay, so on page 60. Oh my god, that's so. Sure. We didn't know how to. Well. Okay. That is right. It is the best way. It's a guess based on what you see. It's not gonna be a guess. Oh, if I observe you, I'm like, oh, you must be a football player. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I have no observations. Oh, so anyway. Yeah. Sorry, this should say on page 61. That should say on page 61. Want to work ahead? We're going to avoid. Yeah, you can do it right now for sure.
Or like 5 minutes practice. Like, let's see what we do.
Pardon me? You want to take 5 minutes to practice?
For the other ones.
Oh, for the other ones.
Like
Yeah.
the new times.
Yeah.
Ones I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What do I want here? Yeah, we got like 8 minutes left. Homework?
Because I'm already like y'all. Okay, so let's do okay. Usually a question is like, you think you notice any problem and maybe not conversation. If you think I don't know about institution. Yeah. In the hallway, started in the hallway.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, and green.
Look at this picture. I know.
What date should I write right now?
It doesn't matter. Even if you leave the date blank, it's fine.
She always like, she like, so I need to have it like, to make my most accent. Yeah.
Inference.
And then they died.
Yeah, it was 30.
Sometimes it's this. I wrote something like, what is the best height?
That's a very good question. Solves a problem. Okay, that's what we did in class. We did.
I mean, it looks a little bit. Of course.
Are these the right ones, right?
Those look good. Very nice. All right, friends, my alarm is going off, so you may go get your phone. If you need to take a picture of the homework, you can take a picture of the homework.
For quiz retreats, would that be next? Would that be on Thursday?
You can do it on Thursday, or if you want to just stay for a couple minutes after school, you can do it that way too, whatever works better for you.
Yeah, maybe Thursday.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Can I go to my social teacher and give?
Yes, you may do that. Yeah.
Can I borrow your names?
Yes. There you go.
I want to, I just really get addicted to story games. That's the thing for me.
The homework is.
My parents like a couple years
Oh, yeah.
ago.
Did you finish it?
I
Perfect, then you're done.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think so. Yeah, I can do this.
Because like I was a kid, you know? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm bad at it. My character is not so that like well, my friends were like addicted to Benny's one for a bit. Oh no! I literally, there's no there's no actual plot in the game. Like all the plot seems like fanfiction.
All right, lovely students, see you tomorrow.
I'm so bad.